You're saying I could have just had this talk to Gemini live on and it would have been looking at what I was trying to build and like give me real-time feedback?
Absolutely.
That's insane that it could generate from this one episode. Then I'm going to hang this call up and end early because I'm done for the week. This is incredible. Why the F didn't I know? This is insane. Why the freak wouldn't I have ever done this? This is amazing. Okay, Liz, I am excited to talk to you today because you are going to show me how to actually use some amazing tools. But the things we're going to talk about today are the things that are currently taking the AI world by storm. The first one is Nano Banana, which is the model that Google just released. And the second one is you're going to actually show us with Claude Code how you replaced one of your apps and created, your own app using Claude Code, natural language. You're not a coder, you're not a developer, but you're going to show us how we can do that ourselves. So, first question, what the freak is Nano Banana? I keep seeing this crap all over the internet. I'm like, well, I don't know what this is.
So you know how like a couple weeks ago we were talking about how Google sucks at marketing? Well, I think they were listening to our pod because someone stepped up their game and they did a great job finally releasing a product called Nano Banana. And all that is their Gemini Flash 2.5 image model. So it's just another image model, but it's actually a pretty awesome image model.
I found this Reddit thread I'm going to show to you. And these are some examples of Nano Banana, of what they did. So here's a picture of Ronaldo. He's drinking a water bottle. And they photoshopped a Coca-Cola. They also photoshopped a jersey on him. The face looks photoshopped to me just because I see them next to each other, but pretty cool. Here's one that I think's nuts. Like they took this picture. On the left, it's two guys in the middle of the day with the Toronto skyline behind them. And then they photoshopped that to at night. It's literally the same guys in the same picture. You wouldn't have known that. Incredible editing. Oh, this guy took a picture in front of his house. It looks like he's in like Nova Scotia, and then they change his clothes and the lighting, and it looks like he's in a flea market in Morocco or something like that. So really, really good image generation. My question is like, what are people using this for? Is it just like a novelty trick?
A couple of key challenges that have come up with a lot of the image generation models. So first off, it's just like replacing things and doing simple edits were a little bit hard to do. And even with like chat GPTs in comparison, you would say like, make this, change this one element. And sometimes it would work and then sometimes it wouldn't. And same with Google's previous models. And so now it has just become much more precise with specific edits and iteration of those edits. So changing the shirt, changing the product, like it actually is much more accurate in terms of how it takes whatever you're prompting it to change and making those changes. And I would say Adobe was still sort of the leader, and you're saying photoshopping, but like literally they were probably still leading the way in some of that editing versus again, going to one of these image models to do your editing. But now Nano Banana really sort of advanced the ball in terms of doing that. The second key feature, and I think is the more exciting and really big deal, is what's called visual memory. So this is essentially where you can have from one image to the next, it persists as the same person, same object, same thing.
Yeah.
And that has been the biggest flaw in image generation because, you would see these little even ads or short ads and like there would be a person, but they'd slightly look different with like different bone structure or something in the next cut. And so now persistence has actually been improved so dramatically. And that's because they came up with some interesting techniques how they're building the model, which we can talk about in a second. But those are really
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was starting to use these image generating models, but that was always a problem, right? It's like, cool, I generated this cool logo, but how do I get it to stay the same logo across multiple iterations? Whereas this is like, well, now you can do that. You can keep the same person, the same image, or the same logo, whatever. It stays persistent. Here's my question to you. We used to talk about multimodal, and maybe this is just me because I'm a caveman, but we used to talk about multimodal models where you're like, oh, I can upload an image, and then I could upload text, and I could upload a video, and I could upload, I'm trying to think of what the other mode would be, but those are all three different data types. And in the past, it was only text, but now you can kind of upload some images and videos getting there. However, my perception of multimodal has actually changed a little bit. I think of multimodal now as I have an LLM that I use for synthesizing data. Mm-hmm. I have an AI image generator that I can use to like create whatever, logos, etc. I can even get these, they're not LLMs, they're SLMs, small language models that are specific use cases. that are, maybe they're healthcare, maybe they're tech related, et cetera, or maybe there's a deep research function. So it's like, those are actually different modes of AI.
Hmm.
And I think Google has done a really good job of creating this studio. It kind of incorporates a lot of these different modes, but people don't really use it or know about it. And you were just telling me about Google AI Lab. I can't remember exactly what it's called. What is it?
Okay, so since they have so many different, locations and properties,
They're terrible.
and it's bad. aistudio.google.com. So it's Google AI Studio is the name. One of the locations you can access NanoBanana, or of course you can go straight to Gemini and access NanoBanana there too. Google AI Studio has now started incorporating in that model into being able to build out little apps and like other tools with this new model. So that's, I think, pretty exciting. And we'll dive in here in a second just to see what's basically possible.
Okay, so this is it. I'm in Google's AI Studio. So aistudio.google.com. First of all, I don't know, it must have been 2 months ago or so, but you showed me a version of this
Yes.
and it was overwhelming. This chat interface is clean. I mean, it looks like the OpenAI chat interface. I don't get instant anxiety looking at it. Okay, so on the left side, I have chat, which looks the same as OpenAI, but then I have stream. What is stream?
So Stream is actually a pretty cool thing. This is where you can basically use your web camera or share your screen. So like if you are debugging something, if you want to learn something, if you want Google to watch a video with you and give you feedback or see you do something live and talk with you, it is actually doing that and capturing it in real time. So this is like
No way.
yeah, people are sitting on this feature. It is pretty incredible. I use it a lot for just debugging. And when I'm like doing something or like following instructions, I'm like, what am I getting wrong? Or like, look at my screen. Or so I don't have to take a gazillion screenshots. I'll do that. Or I've tried to also do
Oh,
like a YouTube video and having it sort of walk through it with me. So there's a lot of different cool things you can do with this feature that, again, is like totally slept on.
I did all these interviews with people. I wanted to look at all the interviews to be able to pull out information that maybe I'm not
Yep.
seeing.
Yep.
But there was a problem in cleaning the data. So I had it all stored in Google. And one of the coolest tools, Google Apps script, I was writing a script. And I was like, Claude, can you help me write the script? And so this is me just like going back and forth. It's writing the script. And then every time I'll show it to you. So this was the script. You see it over here. And I
Yep.
would copy and paste it into actually Google Apps script and it would help me create it. But every time that it would screw up, I had to do this. I had to take a screenshot of the execution log and then I would copy it and I would just literally paste it. And it was like, oh, this error was because of blah, 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 blah. And then it gave me a fix. You're saying I could have just had this on? Like I could have
Yes.
just had this talk to Gemini live on and it would have been looking at what I was trying to build and like give me real-time feedback?
Absolutely. Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I will say
Okay.
that I have had in the past where like I love Claude. So sometimes I think Claude is better at feedback because again, they're using the Gemini chat model. So it depends on your opinion there, but Gemini's been getting a lot better.
Yeah.
But absolutely, absolutely you can do that. Go to that in a second, then we'll come back to the apps in a second.
Okay.
So yeah, so like again, if people haven't been using VO, pretty spectacular for like videos. They have also other sorts of media now you can produce. So whether it's like speech generation, doing audio, like again, you can start doing a lot of cool stuff in here. And
Mhm.
one of the things also that I think is worth noting on Nano Banana that I also think is cool related to that sort of persistence element is like you could do step-by-step guides. So I haven't yet tried it for software, but I have tried it for like fitness. Like show me a step-by-step guide with images of like how to properly lift weights or do an exercise. And it will take with the same person going through each of those steps. So you can just, again, get very
Wow.
creative and imaginative on like using those step-by-step guides. Obviously, they have a recipe one here. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. And as you can go in here, like they have a bunch of cool examples and templates that you can be inspired by, different camera angles.
That's insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now the
Okay.
really cool place that again people don't even know about, and this is like a helpful way for beginners who again are a little bit intimidated to get started in building apps. So if you go to build, this is
Okay.
similar to some of the other LLMs that will have sort of like little mini apps examples. they used to call these gems, which was just really like confusing. Now I don't know, just are calling them apps, I guess, or I don't know if there's even a different terminology. So whatever. But basically, they have little starter apps and examples, some of which have incorporated in NanoBanana already. And there's others that have sort of showcased some of the real power of what Google and Gemini can do, which again is really on this sort of like video multimedia components that I would say, the other models each sort of have elements of, but I really think that Google is excelling and doubling down on that capability of both like animation, video, audio, and, streaming.
Is this
'Cause
kind
they
of an
have
answer
the
to
so.
Claude Code?
Sort of. I would say they're very different in terms of like the workflow, but everybody's trying to build out some kind of coding app because everyone sees like personal software is what's happening. That is what is being sort of cultivated through LLMs as really, I would say, the biggest area of maybe annihilation or augmentation from
Yeah.
what's happening. So, everyone's building apps. And so you can do that now with ChatGPT, with Anthropic, with Claude Code, with Grok. You can all sort of build within the browser. So then still, again, you can build it from here in the browser. There's still a couple steps to like get it into production. But Google has like that full work stream of getting from a little mini app into production, whereas some of the other guys like don't have the same kind of infrastructure that Google has. It's not as
So it's probably more similar to a Replit or Lovable than it is to Claude Code.
sort of. I would say again, it's hard to like,
You're so nice.
yeah, I mean,
You're like, yeah, kind of, Nick.
kind of. But like again, they all have like you can start prompting to build something, and then again to go to that sort of next mile is a little bit more challenging. But this I would say is like still keeping very simple apps. I would say Claude Code is still sort of the best in going like in the same environment interface, from idea to production and building out sort of the infrastructure. Like again, I'd say Gemini is doing well, but again, there's something about their interface that I'm just not as like thrilled about. So I think it's personal preference, but you can access a lot of these tools here and test it out and see if you like them. Because again, I think it's just a preference thing.
Yeah. I literally just put this prompt: build me a game I can play with my kids. It's a history trivia game with rounds of questions that is tailored to everyone's age. The app should keep score. It's been running for 75 seconds and I can see it real time building this out. So like in this sense, it reminds me of Lovable, and then I'm like watching it build real time. Boom, there it is. And now I have basically an MVP to test around with. So I could say Nick, age 40. And then I'm going to add another player. And we're going to say Liz, age 29.
Oh, thank you.
And then we're going to start the game. And we're playing. It's generating the questions. This is me. Which Roman emperor famously appointed his favorite horse, Incitatus, to the position of consul, or at least threatened to in display of contempt for the Roman Senate? I have no idea. I'm going to say Nero because I just know he was a nutcase. Okay. Caligula. All right, Liz, here's your question.
Gosh.
It's generating for you. Which explorer is often credited with the first circumnavigation, oh, come on, of the Earth, despite dying halfway through the journey?
Was that Magellan?
Christopher.
Yeah.
It was Magellan. He died. Yeah. He died in the Philippines, I think, is where he died. This is freaking cool. I just built this.
It's awesome. And so if you want to go back in a second, I'll show you because I think like this is cool. Again, like Cloud Artifacts can do this, like ChatGPT can do this, Grok can do this, but I think there's a couple pieces with the Nano Banana element and some of the features that they have that's pretty cool. All right. So if you just go down to like the worker showcasing, so just scroll. I just wanted to highlight a couple of cool things. So keep going. Okay. So number one, maps. People don't talk about map making or leveraging maps. So Map Explorer, or there was like an MCP map thing, whichever one you want to do. Like you can incorporate in map elements. So I started talking about kids. Started doing like an exploration on the Google Maps for my kids game, like, some like Carmen Sandiego meets something else. And so Maps is just like, that's embedded and native to Google's stack. And so you can start doing cool things with maps, or, maybe it is more on the business side, like logistics and scheduling, or, there's a lot of different use cases that I think maps is sort of a cool, unique use case that other folks don't have as ease of integration. Of course, you can like integrate maps into everything else, but again, it's, Google's sort of core function.
Oh, this would be so cool. I could do a total game with my kids.
Yeah.
Like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which they honestly just found recently. I could say, take me somewhere ancient, and my son, I know my oldest son's gonna be like, let's go Göbekli Tepe, and then all of a sudden we could just go to YouTube. Like I could build this out and be like, take me somewhere cool, and then give me like the top 3 YouTube videos to link to, just because it's in the Google ecosystem.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Yep. All right, so let's go to another cool feature they have. Okay, so this one I haven't got to work perfectly, but it's called Video Analyzer, and then we'll highlight a couple other ones.
Where is it?
To scroll down, down. Video,
Okay.
Yep, Video Analyzer. So this is like pretty cool. So we all sort of want to understand, like, you can get a transcript from a video, but like if we're doing this podcast, we want to say like, where's our body language bad, or I don't know, some other thing, or what is happening in this video. And you can literally in their little app here, add in a video.
I can drag and drop.
You can add, yeah. So this you have to have a local file for. I had edited this the other day where you could just put it in a YouTube URL and it would download the file. So you could iterate this little app.
Let me see if I can get a video. I made this video a couple of months ago of people hanging Christmas lights with some music on it. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to add it here, and we're going to see what that does. It's processing the video. Now, do I need to tell it something, or is it just processing it?
So let's actually see, because the way I was doing it was different the last time. So I have no idea. It's going to be a surprise.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Okay.
Explore this video via, audiovisual captions, paragraph, key moments, table, haiku, chart, custom. Oh, let's do, what do you think we do? Haiku or chart?
Let's do a chart. Let's see. I don't know what it'll do.
Chart of importance, type a custom prompt. I want to see a chart of the total number of light bulbs seen. I have no idea if that will work. I just thought that'd be interesting to try.
Yeah.
Because they're hanging light bulbs.
You can start imagining to like, okay, you can actually ingest video. Wow. That's
now
pretty
I have to
cool.
go count that.
Of course.
But yeah, this is the video. And you can see this guy's just setting up all the light bulbs. I mean, I believe it. I'm not going to go count it, but I believe it. How cool is that? That's freaking cool.
That is pretty cool. So again, like now you can start like ingesting video as a medium and doing more than just, getting a transcript, which I just think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So a couple other things to highlight that are just related. We don't need to do the full demo of them, but just, throwing them out there. So if you just keep on going down, there's like a video learning one. So similar, basically you can put in video to learning app. So you can basically put in a video and it'll generate like an app related to the video. I've tried it a couple times. It wasn't like totally perfect for some of the educational or tutorial type videos. But again, these are just like cool ideas that if you polish up, you can build your own little apps to do cool things with, or like use this as a lead magnet.
I want to try something. Ooh, I want to try. Okay, let's go to my YouTube channel. Oh gosh, that sounds so douchey. I'm sorry. Let's go to my channel. Let's pick a video that would be really cool to turn into a lead magnet. So, okay. So I found a video that I put out of somebody who walked me through the process of building out a directory. So we've talked about directories before. They're like super hot right now because people are like, oh, I could build a directory with AI. I don't have to do all the manual work, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that was a really popular episode. People really loved it. And now I'm taking the link, I'm dropping it in here. I'm really curious to see what it generates for me, because if it could generate from this one episode of like a how-to video, how to build a directory, then I'm going to hang this call up and end early because I'm done for the week.
Let's hope it works, because it wasn't working well for me the other day, even though I'm like, this is
really?
one of the apps. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if it does, but
we'll see. Fingers crossed. Okay. Well, that's spinning up. We'll see where that goes. While that's loading, I just feel like Google, even still. Hey, I don't know if you remember this, but when we started this podcast, we entered into a social contract. I would spend time, energy, and money producing this podcast, interviewing these individuals, and giving you insights into how to build, buy, start, grow your business. And you would like, subscribe, and leave me 5-star review. Now, out of that, we both get to talk to really cool people and hear really cool insights. We both get a ton of value. But I just want to help you keep your word. So would you do me a favor? Will you go leave a 5-star review for me on Apple or Spotify? It would really help. And if you want, even share this with a friend. What we just went through, the AI studio, is incredible. Why do more people not talk about that? Are we just spoiled?
I don't know. Because it's like, I think the thing about Claude Code versus like Google's suite and even everybody else's like coding suite, there's still friction in terms of like when you start to how you get to production versus I think with Claude Code, because it's in the terminal, it's like even though you're still dealing with this weird black box interface, you can go through the full process. And then when you want to visualize it, it just sort of like pops up on your browser versus the other ones. It's like you have to then figure out how to get it to view it. Sometimes there's a previewer. Then sometimes you have to like connect it with like either Vercel or go with like Vertex, or there's like still steps. And at every point in something you have to change or do, you lose people. And even though it's so easy to do this stuff now, like friction is still friction and people just, stop if it gets like a little bit hard, understandably so.
Yeah, okay, so that learning code app, I got an error.
You can see the vision, and I think with some iteration, you can get there.
I just think with this AI studio that Google has, man, for like novices like me, I can have the video running while it's watching me go through stuff. It can tell me in real time what things I'm messing up. I can create apps. It can show me the apps. And like it takes the good of Lovable, Replit, and it takes Claude, which helps me debug things. And then it has a good image generator. Oh, and then I can integrate my YouTube videos. I can integrate my Google Sheets. Like that's one thing that bugs the crap out of me. And maybe you can help me fix it. When I ask Claude to parse data, and then it's like, sure, go ahead, just copy this and paste it. I'm like, no, just give me the CSV. Such a pain in the butt. Whereas Google can obviously just do that with Google Sheets, but money on the table.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting because right now people that are watching and paying attention, like this is a great arbitrage opportunity for any of this stuff. Like again, people don't know about Google AI Studio, so you can literally take that code, find a good URL that has some good traffic already, and just put it up. Like minimal changes. Obviously, you need to do a couple things, but if people get ad revenue or whatever for a free tool. So I'm working on a couple of those, so we'll see how it goes. But I mean, right now is a good little arbitrage until everybody's doing it.
That is such a freaking good point. It's an amazing arbitrage because it used to be that software development was only for a select few who'd gone through a ton of school, understood how to code. Now we can do it with natural language and something like Google's AI Studio. It's a built out suite. It has all the tools that you might ever possibly need. You have no coding experience, and you just told me you built an app that replaced one of your apps recently. What was that?
Okay, so let me share my screen and show you what I've been working on. So I used to pay for an RSS feed tool, and that basically aggregates.
Tell me what that is.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So that basically is listening to websites, keywords, different social media sources, and it's aggregating all that information into a feed so that you can basically see everything. And then it had organizational like collections and groups and just different ways to like parse information so that you could just see it in one spot versus going to a gazillion different sites or having to read through a million newsletters or whatever. So I basically was like, I'm sick of paying for this. It was not that expensive. So probably not the best use of my time for something to build. But at the same time, it was a good starting tool as I'm learning Claude Code and sort of sharpening my skills. And so
can you show me what did it look like before?
Sure. Let me see if I still have access to. Okay, let me see if I can.
Sorry, I'm curious. Like I'm trying to understand.
Okay, so this is like the tool I used to be paying.
Okay, so this is rss.app.
Yeah,
and it would bring in all the things that you were interested in.
Yeah, so it's not really showing how it used to show just because I've canceled this and it's on the free version here. But like, let's do the OpenAI. So basically, it would be a feed. So like, it's still better than what I built, but like for my purposes, this is great. So I was paying $20 a month for this.
And what was it? What was it going out and scraping? Was it going to like Twitter? Was it going to
so all of these
YouTube or like how was it?
Yep. So it was scraping specific sites. So like XAI News, I was going to all the different
Oh,
blogs and
okay.
I inputted all these. I had my own, Twitter feed here, some just AI sites, like different people's who Twitter accounts I had, like,
This is
yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Why the F didn't I know? This is
Yeah.
insane.
Well, the cheaper one that is worth doing, and it's actually free now. It used to you have to pay a little bit. Or I use API. I use API, so that's why I end up paying for everything. Feedly is a little bit more inexpensive. This is like $10 a month for more feeds. But yeah, like you can put in different sources and just have your own little feed here.
I mean, I go to Twitter because it's like, I've kind of curated my feed so that I
Yeah.
see the stuff, or I'll go to their search and see like what's trending, etc. Why the freak wouldn't I have ever done this? This is amazing. Of
Exactly.
course, because there's specific information I want. I want to know the AI updates. I want to know the SMB updates, and I want to know the tech updates. That's pretty much it. I don't really care about the politics anymore. And I have to freaking filter through Elon posting, half naked 10-year-old girls on the feed. I'm like, Elon, settle the freak down. Anyways, this would be an amazing way to cultivate my own feed. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had an app for that.
Yep.
For your own feed, and you decided I'm going to build my own.
Yeah. And again, this was just something to cut my teeth on because I'm just like, this is like annoying that I'm paying $10, $20 a month. Like, again, I'm paying a lot more in other subscriptions, but I was just like, easy tool to build. Let me see if I can do it. Ingesting information is useful for a lot of different use cases and apps that I have on my backlog here. So
This is insane. Okay. All right. Go back to your
and
to
of
the other
course,
screen.
you
The
could
Claude
also
Code.
say that in some ways this is a little bit moot because, like, if you have Perplexity, like it sort of does it for you, or any of the cool things. But anyway, so I just decided, let me see if I can build this myself, see what would happen. So I built out, dashboard didn't work. Okay, so I built out just again like to get different content ideas. So I put in a bunch of different sources.
How do you stay organized with all the things you're building? Because I've only built a handful of things, and I'm like, okay, which folder did I put that in? Where's it saved under? What's the latest version of that thing?
This is my project management dashboard that I started building in Claude Code that I've
Of
already
course
iterated
you
like 5
did.
times.
Of course you built a content management your project management dashboard. How did you build this? Is it automatically pulling in new projects? Do you have to populate it every time? Like, what am I looking at here?
No, no, no. Okay, so what you're looking at right now, as I'm going to load my other one. Okay, so this is like a project management dashboard because, of course, as you start building projects, and me being like a obsessive multitasker, especially with Claude Code, that I had started having too many projects, and I was like, I need to keep track of what's what. I started sort of
Yeah.
learning that you want to build out to-do lists, you want to have certain rules. Then I started wanting templates. And then I started having like agents or different frameworks that I was starting to leverage, and I needed to keep all this organized. So, of course, what do you do is project management tool. So I first went to GitHub to see like someone might have already solved this. So let me see if that's better. I'm still testing out other people's tools, but this one was my own because, again, like you sort of have to decide what should you build for yourself versus like what should you build for.
Show me how it works.
Okay. So
This
this
is
is not,
so
again,
freaking cool, Liz.
not fully functional yet, and I had to redo a number of different features on this. And so it's still like a mega work in progress. So right now,
Like, how is it deciding? It looks like there's a priority associated with it. Highest, high, medium, low. How does it decide priority? Do you tell it that?
so I had put in basically a set of rules in a claude.md file that's sort of like overarching in my personal operating system. And let me see if I
And
can, I
did you
don't know if
upload that to
I
Claude Code?
can. Yes. So basically I have, and let me do this so you can actually see my Claude Code terminal. So, or I guess I will talk to it. In Claude Code, all you need to do is like start with planning, tell it what you want to achieve, and it will help sort of think through what that is. Now, I would say when you're going into this, assume that if you haven't done it before, you're probably going to have to redo the whole project more than once until you sort of refine
Sure.
what you need. Because sometimes I just think it's starting from scratch is better versus trying to iterate and fix, because it might have to like redo a bunch of stuff. So this is probably my third iteration of this tool, and I'm going to probably redo it again. But essentially what I have right now is my local file folder that has all of the different files and folders for each of these projects. In the upper level sort of file folder structure, so I have everything in something called Claude Code files. Then within that, I have some files. And then under that, I have a bunch of like categories of projects. I have active, and then I have like archived, and then I have a couple different stages. And in the active ones, I have then these projects. And from these, it's ones I'm actively working on. And then I've built out some agents, which again, all I did was tell Claude I wanted to have agents that achieve these sort of things. So I have like a systems folder that's thinking about my system of project management. So I created and again, I'm just prompting Claude and telling it what I want to achieve. So like what I'm saying literally to the camera right now, there's nothing more magical than what I was doing besides just like interacting with Claude and figuring out how to do
Yeah.
that and having Claude tell me how I should approach it in planning. And if you're sort of afraid of the black,
So like, what was that agent doing?
so the
What was that
agent,
agent doing?
yeah, so I have a couple different agents. I have a security agent that will help just make sure I have security best practices going. I have an agent that does pulling my to-do lists on a daily basis, or I can manually have it basically refresh. And so it's pulling in my to-dos because I have a to-do.md file in every project so that it basically tracks all of the tasks that I'm doing. And I have set in the Claude.md file the rules of what I wanted for that project. And in every one, I have it say create a to-do file, that to-do.md, and break down every part of the project into bite-sized tasks and then update
Can you
it.
show me that? Is there any way you could show me what that looks like?
Let me see.
What's an MT? I know what an MD is, the markdown, but what's an MT?
MD. Sorry, it was MD.
Oh, MD. Okay, sorry. I just misheard it. And so every time you go into Claude Code, you're like, okay, this is like my template of things. I'm going to upload
Yes. So I'm
basically the
basically having
context.
exactly. So I'm having it build templates as I'm learning so that I can say like, oh, I've done a data cleaning project. So I know here are the rules or things that come up so that I don't have to like recreate the wheel. And then also when I'm just like doing projects, like I want it to break it down into bite-sized pieces, always have a to-do list, always have certain security things. So let me see here. So these are like my different little projects I have going on right now. Let me just make sure there's no APIs showing. Okay. Okay. So here's my overall Claude Code file structure. So I have my active ones, I have staging, and then I have my systems. So these are different little systems that I'm telling it to do. So I have a to-do aggregation log. If I
What does that mean? I'm so sorry. Systems? What do you mean systems?
So I just decided, again, for my agents that are doing things or have a system for doing project management. So like think of your management systems, like when you're managing things, like how you would have a team and how you manage a team.
Mhm.
You do on a daily basis a check-in. You want to have what are all the to-dos for the day, your prioritization.
So would it be fair to say like this is an SOP folder? It's
Exactly.
like this is how you do things?
It is more than it
Oh.
is both an SOP plus the execution. So I have actual agents in there, which again, all I did was tell Claude, make an agent that can do X, Y, and Z things. An agent that will get all of my to-dos from every project on a daily basis and aggregate them and add them to that dashboard. So that is literally
And that runs independent of you. You don't have to like push a button to have it do it. It's
correct. Because I said
there's a certain time that it goes and runs.
exactly. I said, here's the schedule, you do it. And so it will go ahead and update it. I didn't do it in real time because that takes a lot of CPUs and it just will kill your system. But, I have a way to do that if I wanted. So basically I'm thinking through, okay, this is what I want it to do. So I don't have to manually do this. I'm allergic to doing manual tasks and anything administrative. So I just say, I don't want to do this. So can you do this for me? So let me even just see if I can open up just so that you can see maybe what this looks like. Move that over.
Yeah, it's like you're almost building your own little Claude project, right? Because the Claude projects have context where it's like, this is how I want you to act. I want you to always give me to-dos. I want you to make sure that you're attacking problems this way. And in Claude Code, you don't have that context. So you need to recreate it again, which is why you're building the systems folder.
Totally. And I've had to rebuild this. Like I've had to say, okay, scratch everything. Let's start again. So like as you're building and you're trying to do this for yourself, don't be afraid to do that because you'll figure something out and be like, that was stupid. Or you'll build one thing and then you forgot you build it and you build it again and then they're conflicting and it creates problems. So just like,
well, I wondered too, if I could get to the end of creating something and just say, please write me my operating system based on the way that I interacted with you. I don't even know what the prompt would be, but some type of markdown that helps it remember what I like and what I don't.
Exactly. Exactly. You can absolutely do that. And another thing I found is helpful is it doesn't have great context management or sort of ways to remember your whole chat. Because when you close out one of those little black boxes, the
Yep.
terminal window, it loses everything of what you just did in the chat. So what I've been doing now
Right.
regularly is saying like create an MD file of the whole chat and create a file that basically summarizes it. So when I start this again, I have context I can reference. And so that's really helpful to
That's
have
really
those
smart.
things so then you can manage your context because in those chats, if you're not clearing it out regularly, it'll actually like get worse over time because you're overloading it.
Holy crap. This is insane.
Yeah.
Personal operating system. And then it has all the files
Yeah. So it has a file.
with,
Yeah. So like I have stuff for
oh,
my
look at that. Family management.
Yeah, financial tools. So stuff.
Dude, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I basically am building out all these different things. Obviously, I have to iterate and update this, and I've had to redo this a few times, so I'm sure things are missing.
So what is that? Do you tell it to, when you're creating something new, you just say, hey, please reference my personal OS
Yep.
architecture
Yep.
in this folder?
Yep. Yep. You have to be in sort of the right place within the folders for it to know how to reference things, which is a little tricky sometimes if you're early on in the process. But as long as you're sort of at the, my sort of high level folder is the Claude Code files folder. So if I'm in there, I basically can say, go reference my operating system and do X, Y, and Z thing, or do this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I basically will have it do that. If I'm in a lower file structure, it'll only sort of see what's in that lower level file.
What are the different categories and frameworks that you have? So we have, go up to the top again. So systems architecture, you've got the smart context manager. Basically, you're telling it to say, you're saying be token efficient.
Yeah.
Modular design. Okay. So you're talking about the way that you're scaling your security framework and your master launcher. And then you've got the enhanced project management. Like basically you're just telling it the things that you like.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Or like, again, when I said always make the chat log or always make the context or whatever, those will be rules in this folder. I'm still sort of iterating through for like when I create a new project, always inherit these sets of rules and create the Claude.md file and always create the to-do list file. So that's sort of like, again, I've iterated this a few times, so I don't even know what's right now. I have to figure out what's what at the moment. Those are like the rules and agents I'm building out, or sorry, those are the rules I'm building out. And then from there, I'll have like little agents that'll go and say, okay, on a daily basis, go and get those to-do files, go and get, check the security, go and, see, debug something, go, like you could have like.
So let me ask you this. I get that the agents are running at the end of the day and they're gathering that information, they're putting it in the dashboard.
Yeah.
If you're in the middle of a project though, what do you have to do in order for it to generate the data so that the agent will find it and take it, right? Because you have one agent that's like, go find all the to-dos.
Yep.
Cool. Well, if the to-do is not generated, it's not going to be able to find anything, right?
Right.
So how do you make sure that at the end of the day, like, do you have a mental checklist or do you also prompt it to say, at the end of this, make sure you do this?
Yep. So you can do it either way, like both work. Right now, I have been doing it more on the mental side of things, but I've just started adding these rules and tasks. So let me even see if I can find in one of my other folders some rules that I can show you.
I mean, theoretically, you could create an agent that's like, go at the end of the day, look at every new folder that's created or new project, whatever, I don't know exactly how you define it. Pull out all of the to-dos. And if there are any to-dos that are missing, put that on the dashboard so that when you go to the dashboard, you're like, oh crap, I didn't put the to-dos.
Exactly.
Right. Like it's like, oh, there's a yellow flag there for me.
Exactly. So here's one of my rules folders for one of my projects. This one, and let me see if one more that we can pull up. So this is like my to-do collector agent that's doing that. Okay. So I'm right now trying to build out a little, was this the same one? Yeah. Okay, cool. A vendor quote collector. So basically like we have to get our windows redone in our house. So I call a gazillion places. So I want it to basically create a little way that will email out all that, basically scrape data of a bunch of vendors, get their contact info, reach out to them, and then start parsing that. So anyway, so I started this project. So I put together these rules for what it needs to do. Project overview, technical considerations, development phases, context management, and status stuff. So here's where it says like create the to-do file,
Mhm.
analyze requirements, build out the architecture on the design. And then in my to-dos, it basically built out a checklist of stuff it needs to do. And then I haven't really been working on this, but it'll go through and check off hypothetically each of these little things as it gets it done.
I know this just comes easy and naturally to you, but I think there's a huge opportunity to start businesses just around this, around helping people, companies get organized with their data infrastructure with respect to AI.
Yeah.
Because like I have stuff all over the place, and I always am like, did I do that in Claude? Did I do that in ChatGPT? Did I do that in Perplexity? Like whatever it is, I would bet I could build agents that are like, at the end of the day, go to these chats or at least figure out some way to do that to stay organized. You always blow my mind, Liz.
You know what agent we really need to build though, or maybe I'll start working on this, is basically all the stuff we talk about from the pod that can just then go and build off those little apps for us.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
possible. It's
Well,
possible.
the other thing I was going to say is like, I know the RSS feed got us over to here.
Yeah.
That is an amazing idea. You're curating information for people. And yes, I can go to Perplexity. However, I'm still at the mercy of Perplexity and what they're giving to me.
Yeah.
I think most people would still like to have a human who's like curating the news. That's why in like local newsletters, yes, you can go and gather a bunch of information, but the editor's insanely important because that editor knows the local area so much better than any LLM at the moment. So which news stories do you pick? What do you put in there? What do you not put in there? And so having this RSS feed built out, you could have custom, like it's almost like building a newsletter.
Yeah.
I could build a custom RSS feed that just goes out every single day of like, hey, Eagle, Idaho, here's what happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I spend 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Just curating that information.
Yep. Absolutely.
Man, that is so freaking cool. I'm going to end it here. Liz, as always, this was fantastic. What do we have to look forward to next week?
Oh gosh, next week. Well, there's been a couple things I feel like we've talked about. I have to show you how to do some, I think, data scraping and data cleanup with Claude Code, I think would be interesting. I know that's sort of
That'd be
boring,
awesome.
but it's like something we all hate doing. And I know you've had use cases, and I just finished a big project around that saved me a very long time.
That would be awesome. I'm working on something right now where it's like, I've aggregated all the data. I have good data, but now how do I put it in the format where I can then analyze it? And spoiler alert, I'm not doing well. So.
Well, that's where Claude Code will help you out. And again, everyone wants to do scraping, but there's still some friction there in doing scrapers. So Claude Code makes that easy too. So we can do all that fun.
Okay. All right. Next week. It's a date.
Sounds good.
All right. Hopefully you liked that episode. And if you've made it this far, you're either really committed or you're stuck doing yard work and you can't actually skip on your phone. So while I have you, the show is growing, but I have a favor to ask of you. Will you please help me grow the show? I want to reach more people. There's a couple things that you can do. Like and subscribe is the simplest thing. Obviously, you want to get notifications for when the next episode is coming out. But if you go the next step, will you leave me a review? 5-star on Spotify or Apple. What that does is it tells the algorithm that, oh, hey, this is a high value podcast because more people are leaving reviews for it, and it then pushes it out to more people. So that's why when people are like, will you like and subscribe and put a 5-star rating? It's not just to make themselves feel better. It's actually to get more exposure for the show. So if you do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.